1-1 here, and one of our first times we've had the 1-1 score before commercial break here in part 2 for phase 2. And RRR took the first game. Mighty brought it back in a pretty one-sided second game there. I think things went wrong in the draft for RRR. We're going to go into a game number 3 with a clean slate, and this best of 5 has really become a best of 3.
Yep, and I think Lightning Ball was a lot of a better choice. It was rough to see all those Valkyrie just flying in alone and grabbing no one all the time. It was rough. Lightning Ball could have done a lot more burst damage when they were diving in, along with a pretty good cocoon. And all I'm saying, what I just said, did not happen in Game 2. And I think with a better draft, better understanding of the clone too, maybe in Game 3 they'll try to approach in a different way when the other side has a dive. There are lots of ways to counter dives now, right?
Yeah, I mean, Garrosh is one way, but the Arthas play was not used the best, which is one of the great counters to dive. But I think the problem was they had Abathur, and they tried to counter dive, and run a little bit of their own dive.
It was a weird style and that we never saw coming up from RRR, and it did not work for sure. And maybe this time they will have a better draft that works a lot better for them.
I have hopes for them in draft. I mean, after seeing game number 1, I think they have really intelligent drafting. The second game, definitely things went their opponent's way, and it was obviously the first draft where they denied the heals for the Greymane. Both games have been Mighty first pick. This will be the first game that RR will have first pick, as they chose that, and Mighty will pick Dragonshire, so we're going to a longer one here. But this is the map where, of the 3 we've seen so far, the lanes matter the most, and having a strong solo laner, way more important on this map than on Infernal, than on Tomb of the Spider Queen.
Yep, that's because you can take control of the lane, which equals to take control of the shrine, the top Sun Shrine. And the bottom one, of course, will be fought between the other 3 rotations. Oftentimes, Bala, the ranged comes in, or even the mage. I think Mighty can also still keep the same. If they grab Ariel in their hands, they can still bring Bala. Lunara maybe cool down again in Dragonshire.
All right, well, RR has first ban. They will take the Ariel approach, it looks like. Oh, hovers it. Ariel means that you win almost every time in the bot lane, so I'll let that be a factor. This just has more sustain, so you could just sit there forever. Even if your wave clear is not necessarily as good as the others, you eventually just win out in hero trades and then win the lane. As long as you don't make big mistakes, which is why, you know, counterplays that are usually pick-based. Not 100% sure if they want to lock it in, though. They showed the Vala for a moment, which was a little bit funky.
I think it's about time that both teams bring out ETC. Even with a stage dive.
Well, only one team can have ETC.
Yeah. That's right. You're so smart.
I'm so smart.
And also Dehaka, which has not been appearing at all today yet. I think this is the map that Dehaka comes in for solo lane. If they are willing to have double tank, well, Dehaka's a little weak tank, to be honest, but have the solo lane also has the global pressure, so they can have their early macro lead if they want to.
I think this first pick will define what they want to draft. With Ariel task taken away, I was going to say Greymane I think just feels too risky. But Vala was not what I was looking towards. I was thinking more towards the Dehaka, something safe. This is not a safe first pick when both Ariel and Tasta are removed. This could be a trick, though. Could be double DPS coming out from the Mighty, being forced into trying to counter the Vala hyper carry, and then they end up running a Tychus and have good wave clear. Safe response from Mighty yet, so far, and they're not going to be diving into big burst DPSs or anything just yet.
Yes, Uther Greymane, because maybe they'll be using Lunara later on, but RR can't really. It's a little weird to ban Lunara out of all else, so RR still has 2 more to go before the next ban phase. Ariel, the perfect pair, is banned. Oh, Tastar is also banned, so they have to come up with something else. Maybe this will be just another Q-Vala into Strafe, doing some more damage, going with the rotations, with the macro, going for the camp, along with the Rehgar. I think this is a pretty good time where they find the Rehgar here.
Rhaegar is not the greatest for Vala.
Not for Vala. I'm saying
But,
if they go
yeah.
for Q Vala.
It's going to be picked with the Dahaka, so they grab a soul laner. They have good sustain now in the bot lane. Rhaegar is great for camps. Not only the Siege Giant camps they could take if they end up winning that lane, but also the neutral camp, the neutral knight camp. So, very solid choice here. And yeah, he doesn't work the greatest with Vala in team fights for the burst heal for Ancestral because she doesn't have that much health anyways, and it's very long cast time. But whatever main tank they pick here with a Dahaka will be getting that benefit.
Yep, that's already picked up. So they got their hands on the global already. Brushtucker will be coming in. They revealed their solo laning. So they'll be considering Leoric and Martial. And is it going to be Leoric this time? Mighty did not play too many. Let's look it up.
Yeah, it's actually kind of crazy to see Leoric chosen over the Malthael right now.
Good played Leoric twice in part 2. I mean phase 2. The entire phase 2. So it's also an option. And
Looks like
that,
RR is more confident with dealing with the Leoric though. Well, they're switching between two, so I guess I can't definitively say until they lock it in.
They may choose something else at the last.
I'm like, now they're more confident against the Malthael. And they're going to be more confident against the Leoric again. Stitches.
Yep.
That is a very... That ban is a scared ban. We ban the Stitches here just as I'm scared about getting picked. I'm scared that they might have the Fall Brutes onto my DPS. I'm scared that maybe Rhaegar gets hooked. But it means that they give so many options to Mighty in terms of soul laner. They can get whatever they want. So I would have rather them try to narrow down the soul laners against somebody they're more comfortable with the Hawk in the top lane because he's going to be such a crux of RR's comp right now.
Now this. Now it comes to Mighty. They can just double. Pick their double tank, or if it's double support, just bring it out now and then make the last one for flex. It looks like they want to bring out their solo lane before the last flexing pick. I was expecting a little bit of Genji to make an appearance this time. Diablo.
Well, this is going to be really strong against the Vala Rhaegar in the bot lane.
Yeah, that's true with all the CC, but how is he going to pair up the APOC with? Is it just for the zoning? I think if it's just for the zoning, you lose a lot of the CC chain potential.
I don't think they care about the CC that much. I think they're more concerned about just getting picks in the early game. If they don't do it, though, obviously, then Diablo will lose value. It's very tanky in the late game, very difficult to kill, and can simply just remove Vala from fights by dashing or charging into her. And that means that she can't be doing damage, she can't be protected. So I like the idea of the Diablo. We'll see how it works in practice. Stukov will be the secondary support for RRR. Who's the main tank, though? ETC. So it's going to be a very aggressive early game on both sides here.
It was either ETC or Tyrael.
ETC has a great win rate, actually, against Diablo. When he's played counter, when he's played to power side only after Diablo goes in to mess up his combos and to punish Diablo in the early game before he has stacks. Very powerful at that. I think that's probably what they're going to try to do with this.
I think Mighty was actually considering ATC at the time to pair up with lots of the Green burst damage and Martial's percent damage. Pairs up pretty well with the Mosh Pit, and even against the global can go towards stage dive if they want to. But there was the big flex with ETC coming into Mighty if they had one, but with that lost, so they have to bring another global, which is Falstad. This is unlike... This is a rare draft coming in with triple damage, solo Diablo, solo support Uther.
It's really weird, and I actually think that the draft of RRR is better. I think that their solo lane is going to be very difficult to deal with for Mighty, and Malthael isn't going to gain much if he goes down to the 4-man rotation trying to control shrines. Falstad can give them a lot of gank potential, though he can fly in and get kills. But Uther really is the one that loses out more than anything else because he's not hyper carry empowering anybody. He's just kind of protecting whichever DPS takes the most damage. Can still be a strong draft. It feels very old school, feels very 2016. But guys, we're gonna go into Dragonshire now. See who takes the lead. No Tomb. RRR, Oduk on Vala, MSG on Stukov, EGZ on Rhaegar, Kong on Dahaka, and Tekaluk on ETC.
Mighty, Joker on Greymane, BDG on Martell, Good on Diablo, Nasang on Uther, and the last one did not catch it on Falstad. Yamaki.
Magi on Falstad, yeah.
I was expecting Good to be on Martell because he's the usual one. But seems like BDG will be going to the solo lane this time. Good charges in before.
Yeah, and look at this exact. What did I exactly say?
I think he
what did I exactly say about the ETC?
Clicked.
Yeah, I think so too. But I mean, even in the middle of the lane, this will happen oftentimes if you're not coordinated with this. But I mean, literally, did I not say like, oh yeah, the ETC just waits there and then Diablo charges in and gets the kill? I mean, that was a feed moment, okay? That was not, I mean, that was definitely not what they intended. That was definitely not what they intended. Could we say that much? I think we could say that much.
I don't think he intended that either. I think he just pressed the wrong button there.
All right, well, this is going to give a great lead to RRR in the early game. Here's an aggressive power slide, actually, and the silence follow-up onto Diablo. Good got very low from that. We'll have to tap. Stay in lane.
That's the thing. The sustain is crazy for RRR. Ancestral and double that Ancestral with Stukov massive healing coming in and multiple allies for his team. So against Mighty, they do have burst somewhat. They have later when Falstad gets stacked, there's a lot of damage with the auto attacks. But is it going to be enough? When they need heals, it's solo Uther, solo support. I don't think it's going to be enough at all.
Well, some awkward trades coming through here. EGZ should get out of here with Tekaluk's defensive ETC, as we've been highlighting quite a bit. But even though Kong got the grab onto BDG up there in the top lane, BDG just out-sustains and wins that battle, so they actually lose the Sun Shrine, which gives an opportunity now for Unleash. Magi will attempt it, and they'll actually be traded as BDG was pushing the lane in the top lane instead of contesting the Shrine. They'll have another opportunity in a minute. Ooh, especially because Kong missed that grab. They need to take the Moon Shrine. They need to commit to that right now. EGZ can delay this for a little while, but this is a risky position. Looks like they will just barely deny it in time. And Uther is taking currently with Greymane the red side Siege Giant camp. One of the powerful things about Greymane.
Yeah,
and even though
start.
Yeah, and even though Rhaegar has the ability to do the same, they were so pressured by the Moon Shrine that they couldn't do so. So now they're kind of behind in Siege Giant camps.
So with the Siege Giant camp, they spent the time and they need to pressure the lane and also the Moon Shrine because BDG has top Shrine for now. And if lucky, when Falstad gets enough pressure into the mid lane, they can even go for the Dragon Knight in the next minute or so. I think it's possible. Rhaegar is very pressured. Look at the HP of Rhaegar.
Yeah. All right, he's going to try to go up there, poke it. Does poke it. Here's a great power slide. This could be their way to deny this. EGD does go down. And that's still going to be a Dragon Knight, no matter which way you look at it, even with the kill here in the bot lane. They squat it. Kong, does he have a grab? Looks like he already used it. Won't be able to get the pick. BDG is just going to heal up. Very frustrating as a Dahaka player to play against the Malthael in the top lane for that reason. Dragon Knight's going to go directly mid.
Yeah, I think there was a big mismatch in the mid lane when Rhaegar versus Falstad. That's just a pain for a Rhaegar player to just stand there. Just wave clear and just waiting for the right time was the only way, but when you have to go contest and try to cancel those channeling, you will have to sacrifice yourself if you're alone.
Yeah, I feel like maybe a better choice would have been to use Dahaka to have him teleport down there, but either way, they're winning this lane so hard, and the Dragon Knight is just scratching the surface on the top lane right now. Malthael traded, or went mid, to make sure they got experience in all three lanes regardless, so Mighty is going to take a nice experience lead here. Rrr did a lot there in the bottom lane. And actually did a lot of damage to that fort wall.
But I feel like I think the Dragon Knight did so much more than what they did for the last minute.
Oh, absolutely.
And even with that pressure, Falstad just falls apart. This is the thing with Martheo, with Greymane, they start the camp early, and look at that. This is a sneaky move. It's quite dangerous too at the same time, because Falstad also just used the flight to come to the mid lane.
This is only possible because they got the camp earlier, and otherwise Rrr would have called them out on this. Look at what Rrr just did on the map. They rotated to red side camp, and almost as if they forgot that was already taken. If Rrr didn't know, or had Rrr known that that camp was taken, which they should have known, definitely looked like they did not, because why would they invade a camp that was already taken? But they did anyways. If they had known, then they couldn't, they couldn't be sure that that bot camp was being taken at that moment, or the Knight camp to the top right, especially after seeing Falstad fly away. So Mighty gets the insane greedy move and gets both. They're going to get level 10. It's right around the corner, coupled with the the Dragon Knight damage they did. Will be full heroics here. Nothing out of the ordinary with this one, all locked in instantly. Healing Well is down in mid now too. That's very frustrating to have to operate like that when you're trying to deny Dragon Knights especially. And look at this, it just feels like there's timings here. It's a 1, 2, 3-step process. We took the red side camp, then we took the neutral camp and our own camp with that timing. And by the time that's all said and done, as the Dragon Knights come up, with this timing, we take the camp again, and we have 10. There's no way Rrr can deny us this. Very well done by Mighty.
Yep, early start, early snowball with the Dragon Knight, and I feel like they have to push a little bit more there. I think they still have a slight window of time. Not anymore. They hit 10. Rrr Mosh Pit locked in. Take a look, is coming in from the other side. Good, nice way and nice gust to disengage.
Power Slide's good here, but there's interrupts available, so can't actually commit to the Mosh Pit there. Did force Divine Shield and Gust to be used, though, so a big win for Rrr. In terms of heroics traded. Daka is going to rotate mid to clear that. We'll see if he actually tries to contest top lane, as we do see Mosh Pit committed to down here in the bot lane. It's going to be a double. Ancestral perhaps a bit premature there.
Just for safety, because Vala was going in.
The top lane is very heavily pressured by Malthel right now, though. That's what I was looking at the minimap before that really sick power slide came in from Tekaluk. They are going to need to respond to that. They have HGC mid, just trying to gain extra soak. Great power slide here. Good zoning with the lurking arm. Okay, lots of damage done to Odug. They even committed go for the throat, but he gets out. And here's the teleport up from, the run up from EGG. Did take Wolf Run. They protect this.
Ooh, easy. And PGG survives 2v1.
Oh, he's going to try to sneak it in mid. He flew in. Or EGG's too slow. Such a sick play by Magi. Such good decision making there. Calling out to his teammates, hey, hold that for just a second, and I'm going to get this. No one's there. They knew EGG was top because she made the rotation to try to get the pick on the Malthale. That was such a clutch move by Magi. Probably called by him as well, right as he respawned, seeing that window. Very well done. He's such a great Falstad player. You don't really see Falstad in the meta anymore, so we don't get to highlight this very often. But he's always been a good Falstad, and just seeing a moment like that, executing, flying in, very well done. Very tiny window to make that happen.
And this time with the wall down already. Ooh, with the Dragon Knight, they're going in. Mosh Pit not available for another 30 seconds. Nice Divine Shield onto Greymane at perfect timing. That power slide missed totally.
I think this game is being won for Mighty by Malthale. The bot lane, they're losing it all the time. They're losing trades on heroics, having to use Divine Shield now twice. But with Malthale's pressure in the top lane, they're committing everything to bot instead. But this gave them 2 Dragon Knights, gave Mighty 2 Dragon Knights. Now no one's dealing with BDG, so they're going to get a second fort for this easily. This one's out of ammo now. And they're even actually pressuring bot while all this happens. They're looking to get triple forts off of this, and they may be successful. And even if these picks go through, it will never be worth what Mighty has already accomplished. Yeah, they're going to get the kill to BDG, but the damage done is so much more. Triple forts for 1 kill, and they're even going to get this cap.
Yeah, if they got 2 kills, that was maybe worth it, but having the 5-man rotation all the way top, they lost the fort, they lost the camp. Losing the fort was expected, but losing the camp and also so much EXP from the mid lane and the bottom lane at the same time. They have to do more than one kill, so they're going in right now deep. Kong charges in, pops the adaptation, but does not catch any kills.
5-man rotation for this, which means that the top fort, which did survive, by the way, is definitely going to go down in a second. It has no ammo. It's probably up to, like, what, 3 now because it started recharging. With the night camp coming up there and the preparation that we're already seeing from Moggy's Falstad up there for that, means that it's going to be just more experience for Mighty. And Oduk here going to try to clear this camp, but they can't save the top keep. It's just not really reasonable. Mighty gets the second camp, and now they can go up to contest, which is a really scary moment for RRR. And you know what? Actually, they thought about going up. They're going to go ahead and take the neutral camp instead. They put some heavy pressure on the bot lane where they've already killed the fort. Top fort is down now, as we were talking about. RRR is setting a trap. They know where Mighty is. Looks like they're not going to completely commit to it. This game just shows as well, and here's the storm where the kill counter does not actually tell the score. Because 4-1 doesn't mean anything if the one death has granted you so much more than, you know, or sorry, the one kill has granted you very little, but the deaths on the side have granted you so much more because you were able to use them strategically to control the map.
Well, I was worried from the beginning when I was thinking about teamfight because RRR has massive sustain, but knowing that Mighty, they don't want to fight. They're just going around. They don't want the non-violence meta is coming back from Mighty. They don't want to fight. All they want to do is just sustain, try to out-rotate, take all the camps, take all the EXP, and then when they have the advantage, that's the time where they want to push in. Then I don't think there was a one big team fight after 10, except for the time when Mosh was committed to Falstad.
Oh, EGZ is blown up here. This is disastrous now. APOC committed to try to get him out on retreat. Sorry, to try to catch them on retreat. But 16's up. Already the channels. BDG wants to unleash. No interrupt. It's going to be another Dragon Knight. 3 for 3. Every objective, it gets stronger as we reach 12 minutes now into the game. Moggy's just pushing top. And now Malthael is looking to team fight. He's no longer wanting to pressure the lanes anymore. That's Falstad's job at this stage. And they might be able to get a keep and a keep wall with this, if that's their ideal situation. Bot keep wall's down now. Mid is down as well.
Just notice that ETC took Hammer on instead of Echo Pedal. When they needed the wave clear, I think they needed more pressure. I think Vala could do enough damage to targets. Little weird choices coming out from Tekluuk for
I mean, they got
balance.
some good kills on the bot lane, but they never were able to deal with Malthael in the top lane, which meant that Dahaka could never really control the Shrine very well. And then Falstad allowed that sneak take on the second Dragon Knight. We just saw picks not really accomplish anything for RR because they were getting picks, but they never were able to accomplish anything because the top lane was always taken, and it could never really control the Sun Shrine this entire time. Whereas the bot Shrine was controlled by them very rarely, or by Mighty very rarely. But when they did lose it for just 1 second, it was all over. And the Dragon Knight gets taken.
Dragon Knight also charging into ETC so that ETC cannot get an angle of going in with the power slide, connecting with the Mosh. He's trying to, you can obviously see that he wants to make an angle, and an approach comes in from Kong. Diablo charges in, and BDG goes in with the Divine Shoot solo 1v4.
Yep, can't even be moshed while that Divine Shoot's going on. 1v4, he does so much damage. Everyone is now incredibly low. They didn't get the keep with the Dragon Knight, but if they get any more picks here, it's almost certainly going to be that to keep secured. They don't have the craziest siege comp. They do have Greymane, but they need minion waves to start to poke at this. Instead of the minion waves, they're going to try to take the siege cap. They have the numbers advantage. They have the heroic advantage as well. So just going to go ahead and grab this. BDG split pushing bottom. Now, RR looks like they're just caught in a trance, trying to figure out the best way to handle this. We are going to see the commitment to the power slide.
There's a Mosh onto Martio. Maybe this is a chance. APOG in the perfect timing actually zones out the back line of RRR too. So ETC had to die there. Nicely done by Good. I was not really impressed after watching the very first charging in, but those ults, the timing went pretty good. And the thing is, even with all those silence and damage, he did not die for a long time. So he's been stacking that soul. He's so tanky at that moment.
All right, damage being done to this keep now. This is going to be the new target. The shoving arm does get used onto Joker. He does get stunned for just a second. Not going to matter, though. Sentry Tower is out of ammo. The keep does fall. They want to keep Good alive, though, because he needs to actually keep those stacks. 2 seconds on Divine Shield. Does he have it? He doesn't want to use it. Just going to let him die. But he gets the instant respawn. He loses the stacks, but in this moment, this is one of the only moments where Job will be happy about this.
Ooh, Gus is using Kong, comes in alone. Can he survive? Grabs onto Uther.
Silence. It's going to be the double. Unfortunate they lost Uther, because with Diablo coming back, they could have actually tried to contest this next Dragonite phase more directly, even without the stacks.
Nicely done by Kong, grabbing on last moment, but are they extending a little bit too much here? As Falstad comes into the fight, Kong is very low. Odok gets an Ancestral, but ETC comes in time. Does not have Mosh. BDG cannot pop the Tormented Soul. There's a shoving arm.
That arm is so funny.
Gomu.
Well, they got the keep, and so this is going to make the rest of this bot lane, that was the only lane that RR ever had control over, a lot more difficult to control. But for the time being, they have a 2-member lead. And what are they doing with it? Not much. Dahaka's dead, so he can't instantly go top to take the Sun Shrine. And RR with this lead are only going to get these kills on the catapults, kill the Siege Giant camp. And Mighty down 2 members is even free enough to take their own Night camp. RR isn't even taking the neutral camp. They're just pushing the lane. They had such a nice position. I know 20 is up, but still, with the numbers advantage, they should have been able to accomplish more. With this, though, if they get the support, it's going to get them closer to 20 with the comeback experience that comes with being in a level deficit in the late game. Look at how much they'll get from this. Nearly to 19.
Even with a Dehaka, I don't think RRR is using their global to their full potential, because they're slightly worried about what's going to happen if they lose Odog, if Dehaka is not into the team fight. Maybe they're not fully confident with the 4v4. Because Falstad can also join into team fight all the time. You see Kong just coming in every single time when he's needed.
Okay, there's the chain or connect. Again, totally free.
Because of the early camp pressure onto the top, Dehaka had to go to the top, or else he could have been just overextending and dying. Of course, not even 20 yet. The game may be over before.
Yeah, I mean, going top there I think is a reasonable choice, but is it the best choice? I don't know, given that there's still have a keep wall up there that could have defended, but dealing with the Dragon Knight means they lose their core. Losing a keep wall, or maybe keep worst case scenario top to that pressure.
But let's see, RRR still has everything available. Good dives in. He lost a soul, so he has to be careful. A little bit more. Dragon Knight does tons of damage to the core. Core is going down quickly.
I think this is just going to be game over. The Dragon Knight does too much damage. Dragon Knight alone would have been enough.
The Gust is a cure,
GG.
and that's GG.
Mighty's going to take match point here. As we go into game number 4. RR just never able to capitalize on leads they had, picks they had. Falstad was the much superior global. Malthael did so much in the top lane to make them struggle on the Sun Shrine in the early game. And that was a game that was really just tough for them to rotate top to deal with it. They decided not to rotate top to ever look for picks on the Malthael, but instead just put all their effort into getting picks on the bot lane, which got them 4 kills, but no objectives. We go back to the Stitches ban, and I feel like the ban on the Malthael they were considering would have been a much better option. Would have, I think, saved them in this game.
Yeah, BDG won so hard in that solo lane. Also had to call Rhaegar many times. He was pressured, and even with that, even with the very first Greymane camp, they started their own camp when RRR was busy, just soaking in lane. So they Mighty won in lane. They started their own camp. So rotational-wise, macro-wise, they started their own. Whenever RR wanted to fight, they used the Gust. They had lots of tools to disengage, and oftentimes they successfully did it. And I think that really changed the thing. And I don't think there was even one good 5v5 team fight in that game.
Not really. I mean, there were a lot of attempted forced ones, but it was a low kill game. It was very much a macro game that RR tried to force fights, but Mighty just ignored that. Never wanted to take the fights that they were trying to force. Luke showed a really good ETC, though. I will give him credit for his ETC. His play against Diablo in the early game especially was quite good. I was very much impressed with how he played the ETC versus how he played the Anubrock in game number 2. It was much less impactful, you could say. So I don't know where we're headed for game number 4 just yet, guys, but it will likely be Mighty's map choice. Cursed Hollow, I think, would be a really interesting map to kind of see potentially the closing of this series. I think Mighty really showed strong control of rotational play. Towers of Doom, another map that kind of fits the bill on that.
I think they can keep the same with Sky Temple, and it is Mighty's choice for game number 3. Game number 4 now. And Magi, I think he can stay on that birdie. And RRR, even with a Dehaka, they lost a lot of EXP because Kong oftentimes joined into the team fight, but did not get the kill that they wanted. So his Brush Stalker was wasted oftentimes, had to spend all that time climbing back up, and meanwhile BDG was also pushing the lane. So when you are deciding to get the kill, I think he has to be a little bit more precise on those shot callings.
Let's see if they want to run the Falstad here. I think it would be a great pick if we go down a similar path in the draft. But I think that the adjustment needs to be made for RRR to just forget what they were thinking about the Stitches, because the threat of potentially being hooked is sure a scary idea. It's a scary concept when you have Uther on the team. But Diablo gave more potential picks and also had some really good APOCs that interrupted the ETC. I think the Malthael, you just can't let them have that. If you're going to Haka, then why'd you pick Dehaka if you're just going to lose the lane? If you can't rin it harder than you did in the bot lane, then you need to have that Malthael removed.